Welcome to day 61 of the 77-day video challenge. Today is, among other things, Happiness Happens Day. It is Universal and International Infinity Day, and it is the date to create. Maybe it's the date to create because it rhymes with 8-8. Sort of. When you combine the two notions of the date to create and happiness happens, it occurs to me that maybe the key is creating your own happiness. And by doing so, you celebrate universal and international Infinity Day. You create immeasurable possibilities for yourself when you create your own happiness. This is something that I struggle with. I have been told that I need to get out of my own way. I need to set goals that will allow me to discover my happiness and create it for myself. Not merely discover it, but to create it for myself. I may have shared with some of you before that I tend to be a bit cynical on the topic of happiness. About 10 or 12 years ago, I was chatting with a friend, and somehow I mentioned that I am not a great believer in happiness. And she said, "Wow, that's really goth, David." I don't think of myself as being particularly goth. I'm sure that I would be quite stunning in a lot of eye makeup and dressed in black crepe. But we may get to that eventually. In the meantime, I don't count myself as a goth. I'm going to have to remind myself to create my own happiness. Just before I queued this video up, I was reminded of how the need to create our own happiness, and that we can't rely on our happiness to come from the contributions of other people. And that reminded me of the quote, "Hell is other people." I couldn't remember where that came from. And apparently it comes from the play No Exit, that this is the final line, or this is at the end of the play, the statement, "Hell is other people." I don't know if I agree with that. Life would be awfully lonely without other people. But we do allow other people to get in the way of our happiness. We strive to meet other people's expectations. We allow other people's criticism to drag us down. We have to remind ourselves not to do that. It's certainly something that I have to fight every day. Would she approve of this? Maybe my opinion doesn't really matter. I struggle with these things, and I tend to diminish my own power by anticipating other people's approval. And I suspect that if I really stepped outside of that and created my own happiness, I would recognize their opinions don't really matter most of the time. Moreover, their opinions may not be accurate, and I don't really have to rely on those. They may not be accurate, they may not be worthwhile, and I don't have to rely on other people's opinions to give me value. to give me a sense of worth and to validate my sense of self-worth. My contributions should not depend on the opinions of other people. I really need my own approval, and this is an ongoing process to create my own happiness. So how do you create your own happiness? Do you still rely on the approval of others to validate your happiness? And how do you step away from that? What breaks you out of that? Perhaps you will have some feedback on that particular topic, creating your own happiness and removing the obstacles created by other people toward your happiness within the remarks below. In the meantime, thank you again, yet again, for the 61st time for stepping in for the 77-day video challenge. Look forward to seeing you on day 62. Thank you.